everyone. We are back with episode 3 of Dead Talkers. I apologize for not being here last week. I was down with the flu or pneumonia or Ebola or something. So I was sickly and I couldn't be on. But we are back again. We're going to do a quick recap of episode 11 from the previous week, and then we're going to talk about last night's episode 12. So we're going to do some quick introductions. Mr. T.
Hey fools, it's Mr. T. How y'all doing?
And we have a special guest tonight, hailing all the way from Brazil, Felipe.
What's up, everybody?
Okay, so let's get started. Episode 11, called Distance. They're really putting some thoughts into the names. But they're not making any sense. I mean, they should take some type of pointers from Teen Wolf or something. At least their episode names make sense. Okay, so episode 11, Distance, real quick, starts off with, they're interrogating Aaron. They now have him in the barn. We don't trust you. I'm going to knock you out, and then we're going to tie you up, and then we're going to see what you're really about. The one thing that really didn't make sense, and a friend of mine, Michelle, brought it up, how Aaron refused to eat the applesauce at first. Do you guys recall this moment?
Yes.
Yes. So, baby Judith is crying. She's hungry. Aaron's like, I have applesauce in my bag. Look, take the applesauce. And Rick is like, are you trying to poison my child? Here, eat the applesauce first. And Aaron talks about his crazy mother who used to feed him applesauce and onions. And at first he refuses to eat it. This man will kill you. Eat the applesauce.
Yeah, that was very, very strange. I mean, was that before or after you knocked him on his ass? It was after, right?
It was after, because he was tied up at that point.
Right, so... yeah, don't play around with him. He's on edge, and okay, you got some repressed memories about your mom feeding you applesauce or whatever, but this mom's gonna kill you, so you better go ahead and eat the applesauce and get it over with, and then deal with that later. That was definitely very weird.
Yes. I was just in disbelief. I just kept yelling at the screen, eat the damn applesauce. What is wrong with you? This man will kill you. So short of having some super duper crazy today's kids peanut allergy, eat the applesauce.
Right.
I agree 100%.
Or die.
Or die.
Okay, so... let's see, what happens next? So, Rick, Glenn, Michonne are in the first car with Aaron, and obviously Rick is very paranoid, so he refuses to take Route 16, which has been cleared, and everybody else is in the RV behind them, so they take some other road. Obviously, they run into a huge horde of zombies. To the point that the car becomes covered in blood, guts, and gore.
Zombie juice.
Zombie juice. To the point that there's now pieces of zombie in the radiator and everything, and the car stops working.
Didn't somebody mention they didn't turn on the windshield wipers?
Yes. There was they didn't even attempt the windshield wipers. Like, especially when it was just the blood on there. I'm like, why wouldn't you turn on the wiper? I mean, maybe there was not any washer fluid, but the wiper blades, at least let it smear for a second so you know for a fact that it's not working.
Yeah, it couldn't have gotten any worse. That's right.
Exactly.
This is whenever driven in the snow. They're down south.
Yeah, that was very odd. There was a lot of odd things going on in this episode.
Yeah, and then the oddest part, which we're about to get to, is when the flare goes up, Eren freaks out, gets out the car, runs away. They all get separated. They come back together, yada, yada, yada. But then the group somehow finds all the people from the RV. They just magically find them down some alleyway in some building. Like, it's nighttime. They have, like, no light. There's nothing.
There's zombies running around. I mean, there's no way.
And they found Eren's boyfriend there, right? They didn't explain how he found the group, because he was watching them. There's
a tire fell on him, but it didn't quite. I'm like, well, where did the tire fall on him?
Right, we didn't get to see any of that stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
The only time we saw him was behind that little thing looking at the group, and then with the broken ankle. Yeah. So it wasn't very well put together.
Like I keep saying, this season, or this section of the season, I guess part B or whatever, they're editing it so much that they're editing out big chunks, even though they're insignificant, but they help to make it flow and make sense.
Yes.
If you need to make the episode an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes, do it. And cut down Talking Dead.
I mean, is there a editing strike going on? Editor strike? because it's remind me of when the writing strike happened, and like shows dialogue, it just got terrible. It's like they were hiring the interns to do the writing, and that's what it feels like, at least in this little section, like you said, of the show, where people, I mean, it's just bad editing. It's just like disjointed. Things are just happening. You're just as lost as everybody else seems to be, and then everybody comes back together at the end. It's like, what the? It just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. I feel like the editors are on vacation.
I feel like the editors are on meth.
It's a shame because the show has been so well edited up to this point. You know, it's like this noticeable difference of like what happened this season. It's like really jarring, some of the stuff.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Okay, so like we said, they find the group. Eren's boyfriend Eric is with the group. They kiss. Twitter freaks out. The world ends because there's a gay couple on TV.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, let's stop and talk about that.
Very well dressed gay couple, might I add.
Yes, very well together.
I know, right?
Like the world's ended, they look like they were out for a picnic.
They look good, straight out of Abercrombie.
They clean Abercrombie. I was gonna say
American Eagle right there. They look great. But like, it's the fact that like everybody on the internet just like lost their mind. Like, really, this is not the first couple you have seen on TV. Number one, it's not the first time.
On the show, even on the show, right? Because it wasn't the other girl a lesbian.
Oh, that's fine. Lesbians are fine.
You know they accept that.
Lesbians are fine.
Not gay guys. You can't handle that.
Yeah, and then understand that they are gay in the comics. So it's not like they're, some people were like, oh, why do they have to add this in? It's not added in.
They're just doing this for publicity stunts, and no, that's part of the comic.
Yeah, it was like Hunger Games when they had the little black girl in there, and like they lost their mind. I'm like, if you read the book, the girl is black. Why are you losing your mind? They didn't add something in it.
I had dudes tell me no, she wasn't black. People who were fans of the book said no, she.
Well, then I guess somebody with mocha color skin must not be black. I think they described her hair too. And it was like, well, obviously she's of color of some sort. Mm. She wasn't blonde and blue eyes.
Like she's.
Let's see.
But do you think, Victoria, that reaction are from people that haven't read the comic?
No, I think that reaction is of people who are just ignorant.
Hey, thank you. I don't give a damn if you read the comic or not. Why are you reacting that way?
I guess the people who read the comic was hoping that that wouldn't be in there. I'm not quite sure why people were just that dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it 2015? Can we please get over ourselves? Can we get over this? Achilles was gay. There's been gay people for a long time. Can we move on?
Exactly. They exist. Why are y'all so... Get over it.
Alexander the Great was gay. I mean, we can go all the way back through history. Can we stop this?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Let's see. So Eric and Aaron are reunited. So now they're all in the RV because the other car is trashed. They're riding to Alexandria. They arrive, and they hear kids playing. Even though, let's remember that Aaron pointed out to Rick that he doesn't have to worry about baby Judith crying and attracting walkers because, hey, our walls are up and nothing can hear on the outside, but we hear kids playing. So, I don't know.
Children.
Yeah, the children that we don't actually see when we're in Alexandria.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if they were just playing a tape for them, maybe?
That's what I was thinking.
I really thought that too. I thought it was some type of a tape.
Maybe that's what they were doing. Like, it's safe. Look, you can hear kids. You don't see kids, but you can hear them. Maybe that was what they were going for. I don't know. Any other important points from episode?
Overall thoughts of the episode?
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. It was just it continued the string of what I feel were bad episodes after this mid-season return. And it was like we alluded to, it was just very disjointed. Didn't make a lot of sense. Things just were happening. It was almost like watching somebody's let's play of a video game. It was just like let's play of The Last of Us or something. It was like all these things were just happening, coincidentally, and we were missing a lot of the story. A lot of the small things that ended up being big. So.
I agree. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. Like, I think there were a lot of complaints about how slow the first half of the season was, especially if you compare it to the season premiere, which was great. Mm-hmm. That it seems like now they're like, let's just put everything on the table, like all at once, but it's too much, They got to find a good balance between that slow pace, which was nice at times with the characterizations, and the action, and it's just a mess right now. Except for last night. I liked last night. That was a nice episode. So we'll get there.
Yes. Well, we're moving into episode 12. Remember.
I don't remember the title. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Remember is the title. So let's run through important points of it. Daryl shoots a possum as they walk in and says they brought dinner. I'm like, yep, Daryl's just gonna be Daryl, huh? I think he'd rather be on the road struggling than anywhere safe or pseudo safe. I'm not quite sure, but so they walk into the camp. Rick. The one thing that threw me off is how Rick was carrying baby Judith. She wasn't even like on his side. She was like just hanging limply. It was the weirdest way to carry a baby I have ever seen. Like, was she trying to get down, but then she wasn't squirming, so it just didn't pick the baby up or give the baby to somebody else if you were trying to tote your gun in the other hand. Like, decide what you're doing with that child. And then why didn't you make a little sling from fabric? People have been making them slings since like forever.
Forever, yeah.
I mean, I understand if you stop by a Babies R Us to pick up something.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Both of your hands being free might be useful.
Exactly.
And that's a big baby too. That takes up a lot of space.
That's a big baby, yes.
Yeah, she be eating. Okay, so group comes in. Um, Rick first meets with the leader, Deanna Monroe, and she sits down to film the interview with him. So the first thing that she explains, she does it real quick, so some people miss it, that Alexandria was a sustainable town. They have the solar panels. They have like an ecosystem sewage thing happening, yada yada yada. So it was supposed to be like a self-contained, sustainable
Self-sustaining. Yep.
town.
Yeah, self-sustainable, yeah.
So that is why the kids can play their video games, why there's clean running water, everything like that. It's not as clean in the comic book, but I guess for all intents and purposes, they wanted to clean it up, make it easier for them on TV. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about this sustainable town?
Go ahead, Philip.
Like we were saying, the directors haven't been able to show the scope of it yet, you know, and it seems too good to be true. I don't know. I haven't gotten to that part of the comic books to know exactly what's up with Alexandria, so I don't know if they're gonna twist it. One thing that they made me curious about is that it's so nice in there and it's so tranquil. I want to know where the conflict is going to come from, you know, because they're so protected. So is it going to come from inside, from outside, from another group? That made me curious again with the show.
Yeah, that's good. I know a lot of people, every time I talk to people, people are like, well, where's the bad coming? Like, where's the evil people? Was it the 3 people she exiled because she made it a point to say that? So where are those 3 people at? You know, things on and so forth. Like, where's the group that did that to the town that Noah's family was at? Where's the group that did that to Terminus originally, that made them flip out and start eating people?
And I'm gonna get into my serious voice now.
Okay.
And yeah, I just want to say I'm totally confusing the hell out of your listeners right now, probably. But yeah, I mean, I really like this episode, and just like Felipe was saying, the thing that was weirding me out, and I think that's why I like it so much, because I was getting weirded out again with this show, which I love, was first you can hear the kids. And before they came in, but you never saw any little kids playing. You could hear them on the outside before they came into Alexandria, but you never see them. And I mean, it was just that, and the scope. There was just talk about, go around and explore Alexandria, and I guess they kind of do it, but you'd never see the scope of this place. Like, you'd never see the people. Even when you see people, they're kind of distant. This episode should have been called Distant, like I said earlier, because like the old people, you know, that's what Carol goes to do, take care of them. And you see old people on a porch, but they're so distant, you don't get to like see them, you don't get to interact with them. And it's just I don't know, I feel like that was a choice. I think that was a style choice, because it was totally throwing me off. It was totally weirding me out, putting me off for the whole episode. And yeah, the stuff with the little what do you call it, the little loft or whatever where the kids used to play in that house that they got, that little thing was weird to me. And the kids playing video, as much as I'm a hardcore gamer, like I'm a gamer. As much of a gamer I am, I would not be gaming in the zombie apocalypse. Like, that just wouldn't be something I'd be doing.
You wouldn't be playing Call of Duty Zombies?
I totally wouldn't be. Like, because the world you live in is a video game, if you will, because it's, there's all this crazy stuff going on. So I would not have a desire whatsoever. The little emo girl, like, she was weirding me out. And it was just like, and then, like, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but because we're going to get to the ending, but I almost feel like the danger is going to come from the group that we all love. I feel like, because
they're magnets for destroying things.
Right. Look at Daryl. Daryl is the one guy, he didn't change. Like you could see all this stylistic stuff where people were kind of letting go. They were bathing and they were getting their hair cuts. They were acclimating themselves to Alexandria, and Daryl's like, I'm not even gonna shower. Like, I'm gonna not shower. I'm gonna eat roadkill, and
that he kills on the beautiful porch and takes out stunts.
Yeah, on the nice, it's like Daryl did not belong. Daryl wouldn't belong in that world before the apocalypse. Like, he definitely doesn't belong in that Alexandria now. And I loved everything about. And to me, the best thing was the little interviews. Like, because before that, because we've been hating on the fact in the last few episodes of this show that we haven't got any character development. We don't know what's going on in these people's heads. All this stuff has happened to them, and you don't get anything from them. And this is the one episode where we start to see where they are mentally, and I love that. I was like, yes, character development. Thank you. Obviously some of the characters were still left out. They were kind of in the background. But I love the fact that we got to get some character development, and it was done really well using that whole camera interview setup. I loved it. So
yeah. So speaking of those camera interview setup, we see Rick's first, then we see Carl, who mentions that he was the one who had to kill his mom. He didn't just lose her. He actually had to kill her. Carol's interview, she's just straight lying how she was so loving to her husband and how the group had to protect her, and basically she was a den mother and that she really wants to be involved in the community. That really creeped me out.
What was that? I was so creeped out as you said all.
Daryl was pacing back and forth, holding the possum and his bow and arrow, his crossbow, like a caged animal. And I think... Oh, wait,
Glenn.
Michonne,
right? Oh, Glenn, yeah, let's get to Glenn.
Michonne and Glenn.
What happens in Glenn's video? I'm trying to remember.
It was really short. I think he just said that we all really need this.
Yeah.
Because I think we were almost out there for too long. I think he said something like that.
Yes, they were almost
really
out there for too long. Yeah, well, I think they were out there for too long, period.
There's no almost. They were definitely out there for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think this is going to work out in the long run. So.
Exactly.
Well, like Mr. P was saying, that was so well done because... the first half of the season, there was a lot of conversation between the group, but there was never this moment where you actually got to look into their mind and say, who am I now compared to who I was 3 seasons ago or whatever, however long ago. And so it was really well done. It was short to the point, and it really hit home. Especially with the Carl.
Oh,
I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, especially with Carl saying how he had to shoot his mother. I had actually forgotten that.
Yeah.
When he said that. I was like, oh, damn, yeah, he really did shoot his own mom. It was, really powerful how they did that.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to continue doing the interviews. I hope they do, because there's a couple more people that I'd like to see interviewed. I wanted to see where they are. Maggie, is her name Maggie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Maggie? I'd like to see her interview.
The world's worst sister, yes.
Right. Exactly. I'd like to see what she's thinking. And what's the other chick?
Sasha.
Sasha, yes. I need to know where she is. I want to know, as a viewer of this show. So, and we haven't gotten to see her. And the weird nerd guy,
Eugene.
Eugene. So, I would definitely. I think his interview would probably be the best.
Yeah, because he was straight lying.
Right.
And he got his behind beat to the point that we thought he could have become a walker.
Exactly.
And
I think his interview would end up being the best if they keep doing the interview thing. I hope they do until next week, because that was one of my favorite parts of this episode, and I actually liked it. Yes.
I agree. This is one of the first episodes since we've been back that I've actually liked. I didn't.
Yeah, me too.
The episode didn't end with me pissed off. Why did I even watch that? Let's see where are we at now? Okay, so Deanna, who is in charge, is now assigning jobs to everybody. So Glenn, Tara, and Noah are going to be on the people who do the runs and get supplies, which makes sense for Glenn and Tara, okay. But Noah,
But Noah,
he has the limp. Why are
Yeah,
you
you know.
putting the limping boy?
you already got one person killed.
Yeah, do you not see that he's injured? Why are you making him do a run on the outside? But I guess details, they because they couldn't pick anybody else. But why would you pick like Rosita or Abraham? But whatever.
Technically, you got 2 people killed, but
Yeah, details. Shh. Um,
Don't ask hard
so
questions.
let's see. Carl talks to some teens of the town. Obviously, the one girl has all this attitude, doesn't want to be there. Or she's going through something, and
Yeah, they said she had just come, right? What, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
yeah, she had just shown up, so she was out in the wild. And so Carl sees her jumping the wall. She climbs up the wall, and so obviously he has to go after her.
Yeah.
And then he loses her in the woods, and he comes across Rick, who was also out there. And together, they start to killing the zombies.
they have a little
What did you
bonding
guys
moment.
think about him reaching in and not finding his weapon?
Yeah, that was weird. What was that about? It was just.
I mean,
That's what he went out there for, right? He went out there to see if did he put a gun in there or a knife?
he
I
put a
forgot.
gun in a blender.
Yeah, and
Well-
then when he went out there, it wasn't out there.
Either emo girl picked it up,
Emo girl, that's what I was thinking.
or yeah, which she very well could have, because then she probably shoot herself and or others, causing drama.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or
do you think there might be another group watching him?
I don't know if there's the other group is necessarily watching them right now, but
Mhm.
it could have been somebody from that town already watching them,
Right.
Mhm.
and like they saw it and they're like, oh well.
Yeah, because Aaron's boyfriend or whatever, he was out in the. They didn't know him. They didn't notice him at all.
Yeah.
So it's not out of the realm that somebody else could have been out there watching them too.
Exactly, but it probably was emo girl because
I think it was emo girl. Yeah, I think they were alluding to that.
you remember when right before they first walked in, Carl saw a girl in the house
Yeah.
and then she disappeared and he was like, okay, my mind's playing tricks with me.
Right.
But it was emo girl, so
Emo girl.
yeah. I mean, I don't remember her
I
name,
don't remember her name either.
so she's just emo girl.
Yeah. And like she's weird. Like what's her deal? Like I guess she's been traumatized. But why is she like? Why is she climbing a fence to go out into danger? Like it doesn't make sense to
With
me.
no gun. Well,
With
maybe
no
apparently
weapon.
she might have a gun.
Well, maybe she has a weapon now, but she's obviously been doing this before. It's not something she just started doing when Rick and the group showed up. So, what is her deal? Like, she keeps me on edge. like these people are so. At least they were put out to us like they're so weak. How are these people making it on their own? When you have those 2 idiots, one ROTC kid, you know, like he was
yeah,
an ROTC.
Aiden.
They made it a point to point out the fact he was an ROTC. Meanwhile, you got these hardened like military types in Glenn's group, and they're supposed to follow around some ROTC kid. No, but they are so weak, and they're like they're like putting zombies on leashes because they're pissed off that they killed their friends. Like that whole thing was just so weird and off-putting to me.
I mean, but then here's my question: how did they lose 3 people?
3 people. Like, how did they just?
3? You need to reevaluate your whole system.
If they're doing stuff like they were doing in this episode, I can see how they could lose people, but like 3 at once, it was basically right. He was saying 3 people on one run. So what the hell?
Like, how did you fail so epically?
Well, we got bad leadership. We got ROTC douche. I mean, I don't. Yeah, he was getting on my nerves and weirding me out.
What's nice is that sets up more of that idea of like the threat coming from within, because there might be a power struggle if she chooses people from the group now to be in leadership roles to go out, and the ROTC dude's gonna be all mad. It's nice. It's gonna be some drama going on in Alexandria.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll ever explain it, but I just don't understand because they said they'd been there since the apocalypse started, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't. How did these weak ass people, you know, with their
Survived that long.
survive that long, even though they were in this gated area? They had to lose some people because these people didn't build those walls. So what happened? Something happened. Like
Yeah, and plus you saw, like, when the zombie was coming up to them when they first got in, and
Yeah.
Sasha, Rick turned to Sasha, like, Sasha, and she was like, bloop,
yeah,
right into the, right in his dome. It was over with.
it's
And the
nothing.
guy was, like, surprised. I'm like, well,
Right.
I think you need to put down your gun.
It's-
If at this point in time you can't handle stuff like that.
You gotta quit your day job there, buddy, because if that's was shocking and amazing to you, you're doing the wrong thing right now. Yeah, I don't know. That's what that was the main thing that kept bothering me. Like, how did these people survive? These people, because they're so weak. It's not like it's not like the governor, and his band of wackadoos was running the place. We got this lowly congresswoman, and that like, I don't trust Congress people outside of the apocalypse. So I definitely don't trust them, in the apocalypse. So
Exactly.
there's something up with her. I don't. She comes up as this motherly. No. It's not working for me. I don't know if this is all by design that they want me to feel on edge about her. Because Aaron, he just kept saying the right things. I know you guys are this, and I know you're still not accepting of us. They were just too welcoming. Like, there's a way to be welcoming, but they were like overbearingly welcoming, and it was just totally weirding me out, throwing me off, and I'm like, something's gonna happen, something's up.
No, I agree 100%. The girl's name, by the way, the emo girl is Enid.
Enid?
That's her
Oh,
name.
Enid. Okay, yeah, I remember now.
And that kind of got me upset towards the end of the episode because Carl could see that she wasn't digging the place,
Yeah.
and he didn't ask her. He ended up asking, "You don't like me, do you?" And I thought at first he had said, "You don't like this place, do you?" When I watched it the second time, I said, "Why is he asking about himself?" So he had a perfect opportunity there to ask her, like, "What's up with this place? You've been here for like a month and you're not digging it. What's going on with these people?" Like, I thought that was a missed opportunity for
Right.
Carl's character.
Right.
'Cause it would be a lot.
Fresh. Yeah, that was a good point. She's fresh, so she's she should be past the stage where she's scared and worried and just weirded about. But she should know what's going on at this point, and she
Yeah, like
obviously
he wouldn't be climbing walls.
Yeah.
He'd still be pissed.
right.
But he wouldn't be climbing the wall to get the hell out of there.
No,
And
not,
where was she going?
where was she going?
You know?
Is she like she's hooking up with people outside or something, like maybe the exiles or something? Something's going on with her. She's giving them supplies. Maybe she gave him Rick's gun, and that's gonna lead to something. Who knows?
Or maybe she's crazy and she's playing with the zombies.
Who knows?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
you never
the thing.
know.
Like in the
The show,
prison, right? That little crazy girl that
right?
was
I didn't see that.
Because
coming.
on one side, I can understand her character. Because imagine if you're a kid and you're so traumatized and you're used to that life out there, just survival. It's gonna take you a minute to be like, all right, everything's cool now. So I can understand it on one side, but then on the other side, it's like you had opportunities to ask this girl, "What's up?" Ask her,
Yeah.
But that's next week.
Well, it wasn't in the script, so that's probably why.
Well, maybe he did ask her, but they cut it out. So
Right.
It's in the editing room floor.
Yeah, like everything
Still
else
on the box set.
in episode 11.
Exactly. Let's see. We're okay. So after Glenn, Tara, and Noah are out in the wild with Aiden, and Aiden almost lets the zombie eat Tara because he's an idiot. They all come back inside, and Aiden's like, "What? You got a problem with me, big douchey man?" And Glenn obviously has a problem. Aiden, being the punk that he is, takes a swing at Glenn. Glenn puts him down like it's nobody's business. Like, really? Come at me, bro. And then Deanna, who is apparently Aiden's mother, runs out.
That's his mom?
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
I didn't
like,
know.
Oh yeah, the congresswoman, that's his mom.
that's his mom. And Deanna's like, hey, calm down. Rick's group is a part of this group. Treat them the same. And then she turns to Rick, like, I got a job for you. Want you to be the town constable. The fact that she even used that name for the job is amazing. And she wants Michonne as well. So I guess Michonne will be Rick's second. And then Daryl walks away in a huff. So what do we think about Rick and Michonne as the constables of the town?
It's gonna be a great job for the two of them. But my favorite part of that scene was when the guy got up and Michonne went up to him and said, "You want to end up on your ass again?"
I love that.
That was my favorite scene of the whole episode.
I love
so
it.
quick, but it shows her character. Because she's developed so much. Because remember, Vicky, we talked about this a long time ago, how I was like, this Michonne is just not doing it for me. And you were like, wait, she gets better. And she's developed so much, because she's got this sweet side, and then all of a sudden, she just boom, snaps into action. So it'll be cool to see two of them sharing that leadership role, because they really are the two leaders of the group,
She's just bad. Like, she has this. I like watching her walk. She has like this warrior badass walk. Even she has this little switch in her walk, and it's just everything about her. I just love her. And this episode brought her back to me a little bit because I was kind of waning with her character too. She was seeming a little soft, but she definitely hasn't lost her edge, and I love that. But it was a little weird, the whole constable thing, because I don't know. It was just something off about that how they were so accepting of it, and they were just, I don't know.
Well, especially taking brand new group strangers who even if you claim that you're able to read people, you don't know. I mean, sociopaths are charming.
Right.
So,
the governor, hello.
Like, you don't know until they start killing everybody.
Right.
So I don't know why you would put brand new people in charge.
But they follow them in the woods a little bit. You got to learn. That's not enough.
But you know what I think might be going down is that they realize that they're weak, and they chose them. Because remember that speech that Rick gave, and then they even repeated it at the end, where he said, "Close these gates, because people out here right now, they're only gonna be with you because they want to know how they can survive using you and blah, 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 blah." So in a way that might be like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, they brought them in because they know they're weak. Maybe they know something's coming, and they need these types of people in there right now to protect them.
But that's the thing. I question their weakness even. I feel like they're lulling Rick and the band into a false sense of security. It's just... Because, like I said, how did they last that long being that weak out there? Obviously the guy leading the runs is a complete moron, and I just don't understand how they were able to last that long. I get that they live in a self-sustaining little community there, but it's just, again, I don't know if it was a stylistic thing, but it's totally throwing me off. Like, I have no idea what's coming, and I love that. I love that I don't know what's going on. I know something's going to go down for sure, but I just don't know where it's going to come from. And I like that a lot.
So we noticed lately that Rick has been turning to Michonne for, I guess, ideas, thoughts, what she thinks, and things of that sort. They seem to be depending on each other more. So one of my friends from work, Dan, mentioned how he thinks, well, I'm not going to say exactly how he said it, that Rick and Michonne are going to hook up. So let's get your thoughts on that. Felipe first.
I don't know if I would be for it. Like, I don't see any need for them to hook up. It's almost like X-Files, like Mulder and Scully. It was better when they didn't hook up, and then when eventually they did, it kind of took away from some of the tension.
Yeah, it was kind
So
of
I don't
lame.
know if it's gonna work out because they're both type A, strong personalities. Like, what is that gonna bring to the mix? I don't know if it'll bring anything that's necessary to the show.
Mr. T?
I'm a bit torn. I totally understand where Felipe is coming from, but it's like there's been so much sexual tension between them. You kind of just wanted to explode and get it over with, and so there's that. But I just don't see where it would go long term. Like it was just.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something I want to see long term, a relationship with them and them, playing and bantering and frolicking through the woods or whatever they're going to be doing. I don't really need that, just like you said. So maybe like a one-off thing where they hook up and it's over.
So a Lisa Turtle, Zach Morris thing?
No doubt, yeah. Something like that.
It was a one-off thing, one episode, and it was gone. It never happened again.
Right.
It doesn't exist anymore.
I would probably accept that more than I would like a long-term relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need it. The show doesn't need it. So.
Because even the way they play her character, she's like this really like BFF for him, and for Carl, she's like a big sister. Like it would even be weird just to interplay, like how that would change. Now she's my dad's new lover. Like it would be bizarre. I don't know how they would be able to pull that off.
Maybe Carl even would get upset. Maybe it would be a thing that he didn't like. That they hooked up. And it would totally mess up their relationship, him and Michonne's relationship. So there would be tension from that. So I can understand why they would do it for, plot, story reasons or whatever, but drama reasons. But I don't know why. I wouldn't want it.
Yeah, I'm on the fence too. I'm not quite sure. I think it would be interesting, but long term, I'm not sure where. Because then they eventually would have to break them up. Like,
right.
Okay, well, how are we going to break them up? So I'm not quite sure how that's going to turn out. So the episode ends with Rick dressed in his blues, being the cop of the town, where they got the whole outfit from. We're not going to ask questions. Whatever. So Rick is out on the porch with Carol and Daryl. Tells everybody that they need to just start sleeping in their own rooms in their own house. And Rick won't let them become weak because they just don't even have that ability anymore. They're too hardened to the world, essentially. And Rick says that they'll make it work, and if it doesn't work, they'll just take Alexandria. And there you go. So thoughts on Rick's parting comment as the episode ends. Mr. T first.
I mean, that was, one hell of a cliffhanger there. It was just like, that's what I was talking about. I was saying about the fact that they could be the conflict in the town of Alexandria and not some outside source because of what Rick says at the end. He's like, well, if something goes down, we'll just take this place. And it's like, they are the bad guys. Maybe they are the bad guys this time,
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting. I'm not sure if I really want it, but it would be interesting to see how that would work, because you have this really weak little town of people here, and they're hardened road warriors. They've been through it. So I'm not even obviously an outside conflict would be more what I'd be looking for. Maybe that exiled group of people or somebody else or whatever. But the group. That Rick's group or whatever, they're just I'm not worried about their overall safety. I'm kind of worried about the safety of the people of Alexandria. But there is some weirdness going on. I mean, I don't think we mentioned the fact of I can't remember the blonde lady who cut Rick's hair.
Jessie.
Jessie, right? Her husband on the porch that night when Rick was taking his walk, people were saying some ballsy stuff. I don't know, just like, or just acting really weird to people they probably shouldn't be acting all weird to. So that's what makes me feel like there's something else going on. It's like, I'd be really worried about this group of people that we brought into our, seemingly nice little society here, and people are not acting the correct way around him. The son, he's an idiot, and he tries to square off on Glenn. Didn't work out for him. And then you have this husband, on the porch at night. Oh, my wife, she's the one that cut your hair. And to me, that was kind of a, who do you think you are? kind of a moment to Rick, like, that was my wife, kind of a thing. I don't know. So that just felt weird to me. It's like, I don't think I would be antagonizing these hardened zombie murderers, that we just brought in.
First lady, yeah.
Right. That just was kind of weird to me. So that's why I feel like something's definitely off, and something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen, and they got no guns.
Right.
Felipe, any extra thoughts on Rick's final comment?
Like I told you earlier, on the Facebook thread, I thought that was awesome because it did exactly that. It gave you that big question mark of how far is Rick willing to go, and can he actually turn into that thing that he hates, which was like the governor, which is, be the bad guy. Because it like just the way he said it, it didn't feel like, okay, if they don't survive, well, then they don't survive and we'll just stay here. It really sounded like if they're not strong enough to keep up to our pace, we'll just run over the place. Like, what can they do? So it was cool because Rick's character is, like, I like him sometimes I don't. But what's interesting about him is that he's like this focal point of where everybody is morally, like he's killed so many people, he's done so many like really terrible things, but he's done it, he's been able to justify it pretty much every time. But where do you cross that line of like how far you're willing to go to protect these people? And he just kind of like laid it out like, hey, if these people don't work out, we'll do what we got to do. So I loved it. I thought that was one of the best little monologues that he's done in the whole show, just to put that question mark, like Mr. T said, are they going to turn out to be the bad guys in the end? Are they going to be that thing that they're trying so hard to get away from?
Yeah, in the comics, Rick has a similar conversation, but it's with Andrea, who is not alive anymore. So I look forward to seeing if it's going to, I mean, it doesn't have to follow the comics, but what is coming next that occurred in the comic, will it be similar in the show? That's what I look forward to seeing. Also, if you read the comic books, you know that there's characters that don't exist that are there, and then that they're character heavy right now, that some people should be dead, should be maimed, shouldn't really be there, don't exist. So they're kind of character heavy. So will they start thinning out the herd some more? And because when Tyrese, how he died in the comic was he was the one that was beheaded and not Herschel. Herschel and Beth never make it off the farm. Right. So, and Herschel lost his leg, but in the comic, Dale loses his leg, but Dale never made it off the farm. So
out of the prison.
So like depending on so like they're doing parts, and Dale was the one who was eaten. Not I don't think Bob even existed. So like little things like that. So they're doing stuff that happens, but they either change the character that it happens to.
Yeah.
So then,
situation or
my
something.
question is, some epic things happen, and if you mess up and Google Alexandria, you might see some pictures that your mind's not understanding what you are seeing.
Yeah,
Because
I've done that.
when I was reading it, when the situation occurred, my mind couldn't physically understand the picture I was seeing because it was just that disturbing. So I'm sure they won't do that on TV just because
Oh boy.
of it being not HBO. Even then, they probably wouldn't even do that on HBO. That's just like they wouldn't even do it in a Saw movie. So
Oh my God, is that bad?
it is that bad.
If it's that
Horrific.
bad, I can't wait to get to it.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. I'm
you'll
getting
when you
creeped
get
out.
to it, you'll know what point I'm talking about because your mind can't understand, and that's why it's best
Well,
that the comic book is not in color because it would have
yeah.
been horrific if it was in color. It was horrific in black and white.
Oh boy.
I thought it was horrific, speaking of like difference between the comic and the show, how the governor got his from the show and the comic. I was like, what am I seeing?
Yeah.
It's like totally like I
Yeah,
can't
no,
even describe it.
that was rated G to what you will see coming
Oh
up
boy.
throughout the
Now,
Alexandria stuff.
I'll tell you something. I was reading up after the episode, and from what I hear from the writers and even what's his name, Kirkland is the comic book guy, right?
Yeah.
Is that they're really trying to get the show and the comic book back on track. You know, that they had really gone away from it for a while, and now that they're trying to really get everything set up to kind of follow the storyline a little bit more of what's going on in the comics. So it could be good news for fans of the comics. I haven't gotten that far yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to see where they're going. Okay, so let's wrap it up. We've been talking for quite some time now. Final thoughts, Mr. T?
Not much to say for episode 11, but like I said, I love episode 12. But yeah, I'm going back to this voice again to weird you out even more. And yeah, I mean, I love what's happening right now. So hopefully they build off of this. And this, your Alexandria comments has got me freaked out. And so hope we get a little bit of that, at least in the show. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the rest of the season, and you know it's gonna end on a pretty big, maybe even horrific point. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, very true. Felipe, final thoughts?
I'm back on track with the show because every week I'm complaining about these episodes, how slow they are. It's like 40 minutes of nothing to give you 5 minutes of like check in next week. So I'm hoping they keep this pace. I'm curious about what's gonna happen, and obviously they're gonna build up to something big. So I'm with the show again. I really enjoyed Sunday night's episode.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. This is finally the episode that I actually liked. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next, how Michonne and Rick being constables of the town is going to translate, the inevitable confrontation of Rick with Jesse's husband, because they set that up. Obviously, where's this Aiden thing coming from? Like, are they going to have to kill Aiden to get him to sit down and shut up? And then is Deanna going to be okay with that? So I look forward to seeing where they're going to go. And then please tell us what's going on with Emo Girl. Please tell us what's going on with Emo Girl. Do not cut that. You set it up. Don't cut that out. We need to know what's going on with Emo Girl. Okay? That's all I ask.
You think her and Carl are gonna hook up? Speaking of hookups.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Because in the comic he had a little thing going, right? With
Oh, he
Sophia?
did have. Well, no, they were too young. He does later on have something.
So who knows?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say
Question
any more
mark.
about that. You'll read it when you see it. Let's see. I think that's it. Okay, so sign off time. Felipe,
I'm here. What do I got to do?
just say bye.
Say goodbye?
Yes.
Goodbye, wonderful people of the world listening.
Thank you for being here all the way from Brazil. We had some technical difficulties, but it worked out. Mr. T, sign
Yeah,
off.
no, dumb difficulties for my part.
Glad to be back. Obviously, we took a week off for your illness. I'm glad you're feeling better. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to discuss the episode that I liked for once. So I'm looking forward to the future, and see you guys next time.
All right, everybody, this is Vicky from fangirlreview.com. It has been fun talking about this episode, and hopefully Walking Dead keeps the good episodes coming. Don't fall back. We got like 5 or 6 more episodes. Don't slip back into the crap that we were seeing at the very beginning. Okay? Thank you and good night.